It's no secret that Homeworld is my favorite game, sitting atop one of my favorite franchises in a long history of gaming. For the last 4 years, many of us have been waiting with a somewhat limited amount of patience for the fourth game in the franchise to be released. We've had to power through some strange spin-offs that looked the part but didn't really deliver, like this mobile game or that pinball table that everyone forgot about. But it's finally time to step into our blue rectangles and warp our way into some part of Homeworld 3. Dive into the only part of the game that is currently available outside of a tutorial, the multiplayer War Games demo. Much like StarCraft 2's co-op multiplayer mode, this puts several players on a map up against an onslaught of AI-driven enemies with a whole collection of random quests to do random shit in the process. Whether you have to go to a location and kill enemies, go to a location and wait for NPC ships to escort, or go to a location and kill enemies while capturing a space object, you'll be going to locations with your tiny fleet of ships surrounding a carrier and enjoying countless views of gravity-free combat. Part of the reason you'll be able to achieve such dramatic perspectives on this ship-to-ship shitshow is because the camera by default is now fully untethered from orbiting ships, allowing you to swoop and zoom around the map at your leisure. This contentious change from the Homeworld standard established 25 years ago was made in part to facilitate the new features of ships squeezing into tiny crevices and sliding around barriers of all sorts, forcing you to get up close and intimate with the inside of rocky asteroids and the twisted hulks of progenitor relics. With this camera change also comes some weird camera bugs and glitches, like ending up inside of walls or the cursor entirely disappearing and becoming non-functional, adding an exciting new layer of difficulty to the adventure. But when it works properly, you can enjoy all of that classic Homeworld magic of three-dimensional real-time strategy combat with interceptors, bombers, railgun corvettes, and the mighty ion frigates ripping one another apart for your entertainment. And when you're finished, you'll gain XP toward a set of unlocks, giving you access to new types of fleet loadouts and the perpetual live service fantasy of cosmetics. Homeworld 3 War Games, giving the world their first taste of their favorite childhood meal in the form of a tiny crumb they scooped off the floor. As excited as I was and still mostly am about Homeworld 3, this demo was eye-opening to say the least. While a lot of people have been extremely vocal about their dislike of the new camera system, I found it reasonably functional once I got used to it, at least when it wasn't breaking. The War Games mode itself seems decent, but I can't stop seeing it as just more of a dynamic version of the Homeworld mobile gameplay. Though one of the biggest problems with that mobile experience was the lack of units and the fact that the historically 3D game was now basically 2D. Those issues aren't a factor here, but I can't imagine it being too popular unless they create more depth in it, since most fans of this franchise are here for the campaign or the competitive multiplayer, which I'm sure both will be the focus when Homeworld 3 is released. However, Blackbird Interactive recently announced an extra 2-month delay to the release date, pushing it all the way back to May 13th, fresh off the heels of this demo's release. This seems justified considering the feedback, the bugs I've encountered, and the associated backlash from people who have identified other issues like de novo anti-piracy software being included. In the 5 years since this seemingly unjustified crowdfunding campaign of this Gearbox-published sequel, the hype has only been building and many have been on board with the numerous features proposed and displayed, so a last-minute delay to get things right is probably the best possible move to not disappoint a lot of now aggressively aging fans. But I haven't let these setbacks temper all of my excitement. Nostalgia is a hell of a drug, so make sure to keep an eye out for that Homeworld 3 review coming a couple months later than expected. Until then, if you'd like to see more hot takes, warm satire, and tepid commentary about video games, make sure to like this video and check out more Abbreviated Reviews.